Hi folks, I just wanted to give you an update. This is where you saw that huge wood pile. I guess it's a month and a half ago or so since I did the last video on it. The firewood was sitting here seasoning, some of it from January, some of it from May, but it was a huge pile, and we got into August and I decided it was time to move it, that it was dry enough. So let me show you kind of how much that yielded. I'm guessing it was about 2.5 cords maybe here. Here in the lean-to, I had enough to top off the long rack, and then I have 3 small racks here that I filled from that pile. This is usually what takes me through October and November, this amount of firewood. But then also the main place to put it is over in here in this bay. And although I need to put a lot more in here to fill it, I did get one full row, and then I started a second row in there. So I've got a lot more to go with that. But all of that you saw out there on the other video, it's all in here now. So we'll see how well this does for us. It should be all, it seems good and dry. Some of it's very solid, some of it's a little beyond its prime, but I can burn that on days when it's not quite so cold, or if I need quick heat. But I think it'll work out pretty well. Most of it is that gray birch I was telling you about, that some of the previous videos. But this is where we are right now, and my next move is I have a huge pile of rounds down below the barn that I have to pull the splitter out for probably tomorrow and start splitting, because what I want to do is refill this area with a second drying table, turn this into another area of drying wood. I wanted to get this done by the beginning of August. I'm a few weeks behind, but that's the kind of year it was. So I'll get this done hopefully in a week or so. The pile may not be quite as big as the other one was, but given that I'll have the last week in August plus all of September, all of October, maybe into the beginning of November to have it dry, I should be in good shape. Most of the wood that's in that pile was already dead, so it shouldn't take too much to season it. They say, and I don't know how true this is, that the best time to season firewood isn't the summer, but the spring and the fall. The reason being is in the summer you do have hotter weather, yes, but you also have much more humidity, which impedes the drying. So when you get in the spring and the fall, usually you have more windy days. You still have a fair amount of sun. It's not quite as powerful as the summer sun, but it does work to get it dried off. You do have some rain, of course. Summertime, if it's really wet, you get a lot of thunderstorms, so that impedes the drying process. So we'll see what happens. I'll get this on here in a week or so, and by the end of November perhaps I'll be ready to finish filling out this and maybe on to one of the other bays. I still have more to go, and there's a lot more dead wood in the woods that I can get towards the end of the fall to get me through the winter. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. That's where we stand right now with firewood, and I will get back to you when I'm ready to start splitting, and you can watch part of that again. So thank you for watching. Alright, I said I was going to split the pile that I had sitting here since May, and I started to do that. The goal was to get it over and put it on the pallets where you saw it was just empty, and I have probably at least 3/4 of the truck full here. What I have left of the pile, as you can see here, probably more than I can fit on the truck, so I'm guessing I'm looking at probably about 1.5 cords of wood here altogether. But I'm going to finish splitting this. I'll run the splitter for a bit with you on the video for you. The thing I'm finding, though, surprisingly, is that this wood, even though it was sitting on the ground, and really the only ones on the ground were the ones on the ground, everything else on the pile was up in the air, it's pretty dry. I mean, it was dead wood when I started with it, when I cut it back in the spring, so it didn't have to do a lot of drying out because it already was. But the rounds just sat here like this. They weren't split open. But as I was splitting through it, I seemed to think that I may not have to put this on the pallets for a few months. I may be able to stack a good bit of this right on the in the bin, you know, right in the firewood. Yeah. Sorry, it's been a long day. Right in the firewood shed. So we'll see as I go to unload it. If I find pieces that seem heavier or a little wetter, I'll toss them onto the pallets, but the rest I'll stick right into the shed. But hopefully this will at least finish off that one shed that you saw previously, and we'll see how far we go beyond that. That'll free up the pallets for me to cut some more wood earlier in the fall and have it sitting there for a few months drying before I would need it, say, later in the winter. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, again, this is almost all the gray birch. Again, I don't know why all of this died like it has. I'm not aware of any kind of blight that's going around. And it's not all my gray birches, but a good number of them are like this. So I'm not going to complain. It's good dry firewood. Some of it's a little too far gone, of course, but most of it's pretty good, and we'll go from there. So I'll be back to you when we get the splitter going here. Okay, well, there's probably going to be a little bit of wind noise. I can't help that. It's starting to be a breezy day. Of course, the splitter itself will be pretty loud, but you can see what's going on here. Okay, well, I won't make you sit and watch me split all night. Just wanted to illustrate it again for you. For those of you who are new here, who might not have heard the background on this, I know I've done other videos over the last few years using this splitter. It's county line, of course, so that means it came from Tractor Supply. It's just the 22 ton, which is their smaller one. But I have yet to find a piece of wood that was too knotted or too tough that it couldn't split it. And it does tip vertically too. The pin comes out, you can stand it straight up as a column and the ram goes straight down. I have split pieces of wood that were probably in excess of 3.5 feet in diameter with this. Now it takes a little while and you're jockeying them around. I'm certainly not lifting them, I'm rolling them over and putting them on the plate on the ground. I had one big piece of oak, I couldn't even do that. I actually had to push the splitter right to it. But once you get the first split through, then it becomes lighter and easier to do. So it has done everything I've asked it to do. I haven't had any maintenance issues with it. The Kohler engine works well. It doesn't use a lot of hydraulic oil. It doesn't use a lot of regular oil, and gas-wise, it runs for hours, with the tank that's on there. So I highly recommend it if you need one that's not too expensive for your budget. I happened to get this one on sale. Oh, it was a Black Friday sale, I think, a number of years ago, and it was like $200 or $300 off what it normally was. So it was a great deal. I towed it home. You can see with the tow hitch, it's just a regular trailer tow hitch, and also the cradle on the side, the tray on the side. I did a video about that as well. My wife found that for me at Tractor Supply and gave it to me, I think, for a Christmas or birthday present, can't remember, but it makes it a whole lot easier that you don't have to worry about pieces falling on the ground, then having to bend back over, pick them back up. If you can keep all your work right at waist level, you can go through it a whole lot faster. So it's not a big commercial one, of course. People who do this for a living have much more expensive and advanced equipment, but for a serious homeowner who's needing to burn a lot of wood to keep your house warm through the year, this is a good enough size for you to do that. When I was younger, I did a lot of hand splitting, but now that I've gotten older, I think, why should I kill myself? It was great exercise then, let me tell you that, but now it's enough exercise just to be able to get the wood out of the woods and pick up the rounds here now and split them and stack them. So I will give one final wrap up to this video when I show you where all of this gets put. If it gets all put in the woodshed, great. If some of it's out on the pallets, great. But it's all part of the getting ready for winter wood processing operation here. So I will come back to you with the wrap up on that when I get to that point. So thank you for watching so far. Okay, this is the wrap up of the video that I started actually a couple months ago about splitting all the wood that was on the, or stacking, excuse me, all the wood that was on the pile there, on the pallet pile. And so I've finished that, and also finished the wood that was on the pile in the meadow. You saw me doing that previous to this. And here's what's resulted. I've gotten about not quite 2.5 out of the 3 rows from that. It's I want to say that it's about 3 cords when it's full, 3 full cords, and I just didn't quite have enough of that with what I had there, even though it looked like a huge pile, and even what I split down in the meadow seemed like a lot. But when you stack it up, but it's all good and dry. I'm going to be burning it. Probably this will start, depending how cold it is between now and then, maybe December, late December. At least I'd hope so. It's mid-October now, and I've just started a few nights ago to make a fire now and then because we've had a couple frosts. But and this is almost all the gray birch. So, and it's some of it's a little too far gone, or not too far gone, but further gone than I prefer. But most of it's good and solid stuff, and it should burn well for me. A few pieces that I've tried so far in the stove is burning well, so I'm guessing this will too. Now I'm going to also add to this slightly the wrap up for a video that I just did, not months ago, but just recently, of the oak tree that was down across the road. As you can see, I have started to split it, and I've got that much done so far. It's in good shape too. It's solid in the middle. It's a little wet. It's going to have to season a little bit. I can't burn it directly, but a few days in the sun, a few weeks in the sun, I can probably get it into the woodshed well before the snow flies. And this is what I've got left in the truck. It was about a truckload. And as you can see here from these rounds, they are solid in the middle. There's about an inch and a half maybe of outer wood that is decayed. You know, it's rotted up because the tree itself was dead. But the whole center is good and solid. When I was splitting it, it was definitely solid. I didn't see any rot in the middle. I didn't see any you know, worms or just general rot in the middle. It was still solid, so I don't know what killed the tree, but the rest of the wood is good. So this will burn well. I'll be using this sometime later this winter, probably when the weather's a bit colder. Maybe mix it in with the birch to, you know, get a hotter fire going or keep a hotter fire going. We'll see. But this was an unexpected addition, and I'm happy with it, and I'll finish it up here this afternoon. So again, this is putting two wrap-ups into one video at the end of the one that was started here a few months ago. So but that's, you know, that's the way it goes. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for subscribing and liking our channel. Thank you for following along what we're trying to do here with living out in the country on a shoestring.